Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teens safer as they grow, like making sure they've got the right gear for riding.
Knee pads.
Check.
And helmet?
Done. See you, Dad.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
So much to get to in so little time. It's the Weekly Scramble. My name is Chris Reavers. By my side, his name is Mike Fratelloni with Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. Hello, good sir.
How you doing, Reavers?
I am well. So I've been doing a lot of thinking. And I want to try out a new segment.
Okay.
On the
Excited.
show.
All right, I'm excited.
No production value whatsoever right now, but that will change.
We'll change that.
I want to start a new segment on our show called Something We Heard on GL.
I love it because we all love Garage Logic.
Yeah, we're all daily listeners. I just so happen to be also on that show, so I'm forced to listen to that show every day.
So you really know it. Hypothetically, you're listening like 60% of the time.
But this news story broke earlier today, and I knew you were going to have an opinion on it, and that's why I said, don't say anything before the show. Let's just start recording this show because, as we always like to say, save it for the stage.
Save it for the show.
All right, so this is what we heard on GL. So, Michael, it was announced earlier today that the PGA and LIV Golf are going to announce the end of their civil war, and they are going to merge. I have the story right here.
Are you kidding?
Oh, you're not aware of this story?
I have not heard one thing about that yet.
So you didn't hear this on
no,
GL? Well, because
not...
you actually walked in here while I was still posting the show.
Exactly.
So
I
you
can't
physically
hear GL.
would not have been able to hear the show because you walked in before I was done posting it.
I am a town council member, but I only listen to it afterwards.
So to steal a line from the former governor, Jesse Ventura, you're going to hear it fresh.
Fresh.
Golf's ongoing civil war appears to be coming to a surprising end. After LIV Golf, the PGA Tour, and the DP World Tour announced that they have merged. The shock announcement comes after a year of unprecedented disruption in the men's professional game following the launch of the Saudi-backed LIV Golf circuit. After 2 years of disruption and distraction, this is a historic day for the game we all know and love, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan said. This transformational partnership recognizes the immeasurable strength of the PGA Tour's history, legacy, and pro-competitive model, and combines with it the DP World Tour and LIV, including the team golf concept to create an organization that will benefit golf's players, commercial and charitable partners, and fans. The announcement will lead to a mutually agreed end to all pending lawsuits between the various organizations that have proved so decisive in the sport. Michael, I know you have thoughts on LIV. You're a massive golf fan. Outside of Joe and Patrick, you might be the biggest golf fan that I know.
Nice.
In fact, you might even be a bigger golf fan than those two. But
they know much more about golf.
But I know you have thoughts on this, and I know this is all coming at you fairly new and recently and fresh.
It's incredible news to me.
What say ye?
Let me take this right from who got shafted in this deal.
Pun intended.
Rory McIlroy. Because you know what Rory didn't do?
Take the money and
run. He
run.
never took the LIV money. So how pissed are you if you were a guy who was maybe Rory might have been offered $200, $300, $400 million and he didn't take it. And now all of these guys that did take it are rolling right back into the PGA. That's thought number one.
Can I stop you?
Yes.
Because that is the exact reaction I had to Joe earlier. Well, first of all, I think you know this, but for the listener, when any one of us five run into each other, and you've seen it firsthand, it's not, oh, hey, how you doing? It's instant, whatever the topic of the day is. There isn't any, oh, hey, did you have a nice weekend?
Sure.
We don't do that crap.
There's
here.
no idle chit-chat.
So the second Joe walked in, because I always hear him drop his bag when he walks in, and I was in here doing some other stuff on the computer, and I said, well, your outfit folded like a cheap suit, meaning the PGA Tour. And I said to him, I said, well, how mad is Rory? And there was one other name that I mentioned that I can't off the top of my head. Oh, Tiger.
Yeah, Bubba, Tiger.
And I said, how mad are those guys that they didn't take the giant check? And he said, pretty mad.
Pretty mad.
Anyway,
I mean, Tiger was
so
offered,
that was point one.
Tiger was offered what was
A
speculated at $1 billion.
My God.
$1 billion, and he passed, right? So, okay, that's number one.
Yep.
Number two is even though it's a partnership, someone's the top partner and someone's the bottom partner. Who is the top partner in this? Did LIV roll under the PGA, which obviously you're going to take the pageantry of the PGA's name, but who is now the ownership?
Right.
And it very well could be the deep pockets of the Saudis. So now the PGA, Professional Golf Association of America, might be owned partially, if not majority-wise, by the Saudis.
Yep.
Which... neither here nor there. I'm not making a point of that, but it's no longer the PGA, right? It's something different. So then I think, okay, so Monahan, who's the president of the PGA, well, is he going to be the president in 2 months? You don't really need 2 presidents, 3 potentially.
I don't care enough about golf to truly have an opinion about this. But the great line that we've always said on Garage Logic holds true here. Everyone has a number.
Yeah.
Everybody has a price tag of well, we're just going to be high and mighty about this. Well, apparently you were for a year, and now you're not. And trust me, I get why they did this. They did this because they just simply can't compete financially with these people.
Reavers, when I go back to even just today, you'll have people say, you know, that kid came out of college to play pro basketball. He should have just stayed in college. It's like, hey, moron. He can play professional basketball for 2 years and never work another day in his life. Or he can go to college, get a degree in women's studies, and never work a day in his life. right? I mean, what are you doing? LIV Golf, these guys were offered 50, 80, 75 million bucks. Of course they're going to take it. How could you not? They're never going to win another tour, and they're like, okay, you're handing me a check for, after all taxes and everything, $50 million?
Right.
I'm done. Whether I play golf another day in my life, I'm done.
And that's why I didn't understand when all of this started to surface way back when, and Joe and Pat were legitimately mad about guys that were taking these giant checks, and I'm thinking, okay, well, why wouldn't they? And again, I get it. It's blood money. It's the Saudi. I get it completely. But I'm thinking, if someone's offering you that kind of coin, money in which it would take you how long to earn that on the PGA Tour? I can't.
Years.
I can't fault anybody that would have taken that check.
So what we should do is we should set up a contract with Al Jazeera to reach out to Joe Souchere and say, hey, Joe, we have this thing. We'd like to pay you $4 million for the next 10 years to do GL on Al Jazeera. And I'm going to promise you, even someone who has morality and scruples like Joe Souchere might say, for $4 million, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go into Al Jazeera. I mean, look at Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yep.
His TV show was on a Russian-owned television station.
RTV, as he likes to call it.
Russia TV.
Yep.
I mean, he did it. He was a complete sellout. And Jesse has to have some money. He was a movie star.
So the best tweet of the day, and I was alerted to this by Johnny Height once we stopped recording the show, but this is hilarious. It comes to us from a gentleman by the name of James Heskey, who is a contributor to The Onion.
Okay.
Everyone's familiar with the satirical website, The Onion. As part of the merger, the PGA will control holes 1 through 8 and 12 through 11. The Saudis do 9-11. 9-11. That's pretty funny.
I don't know if we can laugh about that yet. I'm going to go on record and not laugh about that.
But what's interesting is to read said reactions, and most of it's like, whoa!
What? Yeah, I don't think you can joke about. I think that might be something you can't. The Holocaust, not a lot of great Holocaust jokes.
Okay.
Right? I don't think you can really. I'm not reprimanding you. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not in trouble?
No, you're not in trouble.
Okay.
I just don't think you can joke about those things.
Well, I'm going to say this. He posted this, let's see, about 3.5 hours ago. Yeah. It's already over 1.5 million views.
Oh, okay.
So it's exploding.
Okay. Are you familiar with a movie called What is a Woman?
No.
Okay, so I can't believe
Enlighten me.
this. So there's a director and a podcast host named Matt Walsh, and he made this documentary.
Yes. I mean, I haven't seen it,
okay.
But yes, I'm now aware of it.
I'm gonna share people a little bit of this kerfuffle that happened on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. So this company called Daily Wire, they own a bunch of podcasts. It's Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Candace Owens, a bunch of people. And one of the guys, Matt Walsh, made this movie called What is a Woman? It was a documentary on just asking people, what is a woman?
Sure.
And how hard it was for people just to say an adult female, it was just very, very difficult. And it kind of explored the intricacies of that world, right? Of people questioning what womanhood is. And they had made a media buy with Twitter to premiere this movie on its 1-year anniversary. And Twitter stepped back and said, hey, there was 2 misgenderings in the movie. So not only are we not going to let you do the ad buy, we're not going to let anybody beside your followers see it. And they did all this stuff to throttle it down, right? And Ben Shapiro, who has millions of followers,
huge, yep.
said to Musk, hey, Elon, what are you doing? Is it free speech on Twitter or is it not? And Elon found out about the problem and fired the 2 people that said they were going to moderate the ad buy and moderate the movie, pinned the documentary to his wall on Twitter for 48 hours. At this point, it's like 160 million people have downloaded some portion of that movie.
Wow.
160 million people. That makes it the most watched documentary in the history of all time.
Holy cow.
When you think of that, so they had this little bit of like, oh my gosh, we announced this big thing on Twitter. Twitter backed out. Twitter said, hey, there's 2 people that misgendered somebody. And what happened is in the movie, a man calls his 14-year-old daughter a girl. He's talking about his 14-year-old daughter, and he calls her a girl instead of calling her a boy. So they said, that's misgendering. That's hate speech. You can't do that. And Musk said, time out. Yes, you can. Sticks and stones, right? That's a word. That's not killing that person. I'm not saying I'm going to murder them. That's something that maybe hurt that person and so on, but that's not hate speech, right? It's a dad calling his daughter a daughter. And because of that, so many more people heard about this movie that I can't believe 150 million people downloaded and watched some portion of that movie. All right. And it's the number 1 documentary of all time, by far.
Because the cynic in me cannot rest.
Yes.
The cynic in me then has to start to think of, okay, what's the angle? What's the angle? What's the end? Was it all done? Was it all done by design?
I think the Daily Wire, the people from the Daily Wire, again, Ben Shapiro and all those guys, decided to come out about 2 weeks ago and said, hey, we have a new free speech platform. It's Twitter. So we're going to actually post everything on Twitter now. Everything is going to go onto Twitter. So that's when they were doing this ad buy for What is a Woman. So they were going to kind of announce this, hey, everything that Daily Wire puts up now is also going to be available on Twitter. And, they're going to do that revenue share with Twitter because Twitter has this new revenue share model. Yep. And, they'll have millions of people watching their stuff on Twitter. And they said, we're going to start with this movie. We're going to give the movie away and it's going to be fantastic. And then somebody mired in the bureaucracy of Twitter said, you can't show that movie. We're not even going to let you do this buy. We're not going to let you. And Elon, who just spent $44 billion on this thing, said, oh, hold on. I'd like to have 150 million people interact with this. Hold on. I'd like to have all of their guests, their hosts do podcasts on Twitter and share that revenue stream to get my $44 billion back. And I don't think it sounded like it was just kind of a spur of the moment. Like, what do you mean? And they released the handful of people who had made that we're not doing it, comment and stopped it. They had like Candace Owens, you know who she is.
Of course.
She just wrote, Elon, are you aware of this? Like, you might not be aware that this happened to us. And sure enough, he was like, oh, not only am I aware, but I'm going to pin it to my page for 2 days.
I don't think that a lot of, and maybe they are, because there's a lot of smart people that work in mainstream media, but this is coming on the heels of something that Tom Bernard said on our show last Wednesday, where, you and I were briefly discussing this before the show started. He kind of said the quiet part out loud, right? That we all kind of knew, but I also don't think that the likes of...
What do you mean by the quiet? What portion are you saying?
About how the landscape of the broadcast industry, and he was, and Tom, and I'm trying not to put words into Tom's mouth, but basically Tom was just strictly talking about radio.
Yeah, radio is dead.
And this is two guys in Tom and Joe who have been
60 years of
right, and
collective experience.
Who have had massive numbers in the radio world.
Huge success, yeah.
So this isn't, people should not take those thoughts lightly.
It's not me or you saying
no,
it. It's
exactly.
Saying, yeah.
But I don't think the likes of the heads of CNN, Fox News, or whatever truly realize the larger animal that they're now going to be up against. Because when the likes of Tucker get removed from his show and now say, all right, well, I'm going to take my show and put it on social media, and it's going to have just as big of an audience.
Yeah, and he's going to make 8 times more than he made
because
before.
he's basically eliminating the middleman, and now X, Y, and Z advertisers are now going to just go to his camp. And he might lose some, and that's very well true.
Sure.
But again, I don't think those types truly understand the larger game that's being played here, because this just in, younger viewers and younger listeners don't consume media the conventional way or the same way that you and I did when we were that age. They just don't.
Yep.
We've seen stories where the AM radio is now not even being offered in vehicles being manufactured these days.
They now they have to by law.
Right, but you see where I'm going with this. It's just there's a much larger game, and if you're fortunate enough, and I think we are here, to be able to work for a company that sees that and tries to, kind of take the left turn when the left turn is approaching. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think those are the companies that aren't going to be left behind, because gone are the days of having this station, and I'm not saying just radio or just television. Gone are the days where you're going to have all this overhead with all of these different. Those days are over.
No one's investing $1 billion building a new radio
You
station.
watch the show Mad Men.
Yep.
Those days are gone.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen it with newspaper the last 15 to 20 years. We've seen it happen right before. I mean, the same thing is going to happen to all these other outlets, and I think some truly realize that, but I think others are saying, it'll be fine. I disagree completely.
Well, we're coming up on our 10th year reunion next week, right? It's going to be in a couple weeks, so it'll be our 10th year reunion.
It's in July, correct?
I think we're going to celebrate it here in the end in June, but it's in July. And we did radio for a long time. And then I think I might have developed this because I'm going to take credit for it, but I wanted to do a radcast, a radio podcast, right?
Yes,
so
you did.
We did in both podcast form and radio. And I think that could still be a potential for us, right? Because I think one thing that is really difficult for podcasts, Reavers, is how do you find the next person to listen to your podcast unless they're hearing a wide variety of things?
True.
So being on the radio, I mean, look at it every day. People will say about GL. GL's one of the most successful podcasts in the state of Minnesota by far, one of the best podcasts in the nation. And people say, oh, it's so sad it's not on the radio anymore.
I just ran into somebody yesterday.
Think of that.
Yeah.
Think of that. So if the GL podcast could still be on AM 1500, if it was still on AM 1500, people would listen to it and say, oh, it's available on podcast. And I think what will happen is what Bernard said. Somebody will say, you and I will take the weekly scramble and we'll say, hey, we'd like to do the weekly scramble in 75 markets. We'll let you have it for free, but we get to sell some of the ads. And I think that could legitimately happen. Not necessarily for our markets or us, but it could happen for a real talented show.
Right. Well, and I'm laughing because I was reminded of that interaction yesterday where I've known this person for a long time.
Yeah.
This person's child goes to school with my kid.
Yes.
And has for years, and said, oh, man, I really miss listening to you, Joe, and Rookie on the radio. And I said, are you kidding me?
No.
I talk to you a couple times a year. You didn't realize that we're still doing this?
Yeah, did you think I just didn't work?
And he said, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I thought, all right. And this is someone I know personally.
You know what we should do?
Anyway.
I have a way to fix AM and FM radio.
Okay.
You ready? I can do it.
Everyone's
in 2 minutes.
listening.
We have a war in Ukraine. And if everybody in Ukraine in their cell phones had to have an AM and FM receiver, right? Just like, you can do that. You could put it in a thing. Right now it's a digital receiver, right? But if you had to make it a true AM FM receiver, because during times of global warming catastrophes or war, it would be neat to be able to have a cell phone that could still get AM and FM broadcasts.
Yeah.
I'm not being facetious here.
I can tell.
And if you forced the cell phone builders to build in AM, FM by law, if you made it do it by law for safety purposes, then everybody who has their cell phone in their hand 24 hours a day would also be able to tune into AM 1500.
Okay.
Right? And you'd have to do that little tune thing and you have a little dial. And I know you can get AM 1500 on your cell phone through a different dial service, but it's not truly received. It's a digital copy
That
of
is
it.
still, and you're reminding me of a story. That is still one of the coolest things that someone ever emailed into us. And Joe read it. I think we were doing it as a podcast, but someone from across the pond, I don't remember exactly what country, somehow found a way to receive as a signal on their 1500.
Sure, really.
And I thought, but it was a cool email, and I'm not doing it any justice whatsoever, but it was really, really neat.
Well,
And
if
one
I'm
of the
not
coolest emails
mistaken,
ever.
and you're the radio professional and I'm not, but so Clear Channel, not Clear Channel the company,
Right.
but Clear Channel radio stations like WCCO and this KSTP, I think KSTP would go 10 states at night. Right?
Sure.
You could hear it in Montana. Mm-hmm. If I'm not, wasn't that the case?
He pointed it west.
I mean, yeah,
Mr. Hubbard. Yep.
wherever you pointed it, it went miles.
Yep.
Well, I think if there was a guy who owned a bunch of radio stations and they got together, like let's say the company who owns the gentleman who owns our company.
Sure.
If he went to the people who own iHeart and said, hey, let's go ahead and lobby to get AM/FM receivers put into cell phones for safety purposes. Right? For community awareness. Like if a storm's coming, your power's out, your Wi-Fi's out, your cellular service is out, you'd still have AM and FM band. Think of that. Raiders.
Okay.
This is a legitimate thing. You're welcome. Because I think the people at iHeart own billions of dollars worth of radio stations.
They do.
And they're wondering how to fix this. You're welcome. I just gave you the fix. Go lobby Congress, and every cell phone will have a AM/FM receiver on the side of it. They can put that in there real easy.
I like it.
Plug in an antenna to that thing.
And while you're doing that, you know what you should do?
Go to Harmony Spirits.
Check out our friends at Harmony Spirits.
I want to guess.
And online at harmonyspirits.net, handcrafted spirits. That's right here in our own backyard. I was eyeballing their products right now. They've got the bourbon whiskey, the vodka, regular whiskey, gin, the barrel strength bourbon whiskey, and of course their rum. What is it? Rum season or gin season right now? Would you?
I think it would be rum season because now it's warm. Gin season is early or late, maybe.
Okay.
But rum season is when you want to have a cutoff shirt.
Yes.
Yes, where you're looking at the sleeves and say, I should have no sleeves.
Did you hear that, Harmony Spirits? How about the Mike Fratelloni cutoff shirt, rum and whatever?
Yes.
Are you a pineapple and rum kind of a guy?
Yes, I am.
At the tasting
I'm a rum
room.
and anything.
You can have that at absolutely no charge. So here's what you need to do, though. Help us grow the Harmony brand by name. Go on into your local liquor store and ask for them. Say, hey, how come you guys don't have Harmony Spirits here in this wonderful liquor store? And that will help spread the word. You can also stop in at that awesome tasting room down there in Harmony, Minnesota. They always have a rotating menu of their craft cocktails right there in the tasting room in Harmony, Minnesota. But please stop in, say hi to the entire crew, and let them know you heard about them here on the weekly Scramble podcast. All right. I have a confession to make.
Yes. Uh-oh.
You don't have to. I don't want to get you in trouble, but I'm willing to out myself. Okay, because I know we're kind of in the same boat where we're running from this thing with our kids to that thing with our kid. We're super busy, and everybody's super busy right now. But you know how when you go, oh, that's right, we got to go do that thing tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And that happened to me last week. In fact, it was the day after we did the show. Or no, I'm sorry. We did a best of last week, so we weren't on the air. We didn't do a live show. Anyway, so my son, and I'm now coaching my son's travel baseball. And it's so much fun because it's a blast.
He's 10 or 12 or something like that.
He's 11.
He's 11.
So he's playing, this is his first season of travel baseball.
Okay.
So, and it's not like we're going to,
going
different
to
states.
Nevis and Jordan.
Yeah, we're in like Belle Plaine, and tonight we have a game in Chanhassen. So stuff is all relatively close. But last Wednesday, we had a game in Minneapolis at 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Meaning, we weren't going to get home till after 11 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the traffic. He still has school because his last day of school is actually today. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, oh God, we're going to. But I don't say anything.
No.
Because he's jacked. He's looking forward to it. And I got to tell you, it was so cool.
Oh.
Because he got to play at those fields at Fort Snelling.
Oh, cool.
And I had never been there before, right? I had never.
And you've played at every field in Minnesota.
I've been to every freaking ballpark in this state, but I had never once set foot on the fields at Fort Snelling. And I got to tell you, whoever decided to construct these fields and whoever runs these fields, bravo.
Really?
They are so cool.
Okay.
And for just a baseball nerd like me, to watch my kid pitch at this field, I was literally staying in the dugout going, oh my God, this is freaking awesome.
So are you getting planes flying over you
Oh,
too?
yeah.
Oh, it's
to the point where he and I were playing catch before the game.
You're like, Whit won't up there.
And you could hear,
Really?
It was cool.
Oh, that is real cool.
And yeah, they got their butts kicked. They got 10 run. But
Okay.
I remember after the game thinking to myself, okay, because you're always thinking of a way to encourage kids, especially with baseball. Holding kids' attention with this sport
not
is
so
not
easy.
easy
Yep.
when it's the video game centric mindset. And I get that. So I remember we were walking to go do the little post game, hey, you guys did good. And they did. The thing I love about my son's team is even when they lose, they work their asses off.
Really?
They really
Good.
do.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
it's really, really cool to watch. And I remember because they're kind of down. I said, hey, let me tell you guys something. You're on an 11-year-old team. I didn't play my first night game under the lights until I think I was in 9th grade. You guys got to play in the big city under the lights at 11.
Yeah, with planes flying
I
over.
said,
How cool.
around. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And they all, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is
But
cool.
it was one of those things where I said, oh, God, we got to go. And I thought, well, wait a minute,
How
this
lucky.
is
Yeah.
cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I thought about that last week and I thought, okay, you don't have to just, I kind of tend to be a cynic by nature, but man, that was cool. And I'd never been there before, so I just wanted to give a quick shout out to, I forget the governing body of the Fort Snelling Fields, but
Sure.
and I've had some terse words for Minneapolis over the last couple of years. Bravo. Seriously, it's
So
very,
maybe
very cool.
it is the third best park city in America. Isn't that what they said?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So let me ask you this. Did they do a land rights statement before the game starts? Did they say this is Dakota
did
land?
not.
They did not
No,
start
they
with
did
that.
not.
Because when you visit Fort Snelling, the very first thing they say in
Right.
anything is, first of all, this is Dakota land.
Well, and my oldest son, he is an information consumer.
Okay.
So, and I'm glad that he's very inquisitive like
Sure.
that. So
It's a great thing to be.
and he's heard about.
Maybe he's Joe's kid.
Might be. He might be. But
Sorry.
no, he might be.
I just ruined your wife for you.
But
didn't I?
but when we were driving up, he was asking a bunch of questions about Fort Snelling, and the last time I went on a tour there, I'm pretty sure I was in high school,
6th grade or
whatever it
yeah.
was. So
Get
I
that
thought
rock candy.
and I thought, well, no, but we should probably come back as a family and come through here. Like it
Yeah.
would be cool
It's
to
cool.
do it. Yeah. But anyway,
Do you ever play in your old men's baseball league? What is it called again?
Town baseball.
Town ball.
Yep.
Do you ever play in Wanamingo, Minnesota? It's down by Rochester.
we have. I'm trying to
Do
remember.
they even have a team?
Oh, in fact, yeah. Not only did they have a team, they were in our state tournament that we hosted with Dundas last year.
Really?
The Wanamingo Jacks.
the Wanamingo Jacks.
And yes, we have played there. The last time, though, that the Faribault Lakers played them, I was not in attendance.
Okay, because my daughters have had 3 weekends in a row of volleyball tournaments in Wanamingo, which Wanamingo is like an hour from my house, which is fine. It's a nice drive.
Sure.
It's an easy
Right down
drive.
52.
Down 52. There's some stuff going on 52, but it's fast Sunday and Saturday mornings. But we get down there, and it's a one-bar town. JB's is this bar. The best part is her tournaments are at this bar. So you roll in.
Timeout.
Yep. 2 sand beach volleyball tournaments. It's beach volleyball. So it's outside
your
volleyball.
daughters are in high school.
My daughters are in high school. Yep. One's in 7th grade, just graduated from 7th grade.
Walk me through how that's legal.
So because it's just a bar. It's just all they're doing is playing at the beach volleyball courts at this bar.
So this isn't a MSHL sanctioned.
No. It's not a high school
Gotcha,
thing.
Gotcha.
This is their club volleyball.
That's
right?
what I was.
This is their
okay.
summer club league.
Gotcha.
But I mean, talk about a great tournament. I have to drive to Wanamingo.
Sure.
Wanamingo is a one-bar town. That's how small this town
Yes.
is. It's adorably clean.
Yes.
This bar is great.
They have a couple of really cool campgrounds in that area too.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
I searched around. I drove around a little bit. I walked up and down 1 block in each direction. And I saw the whole town. But this is going to be my 3rd or 4th weekend in a row going down there.
Okay.
So Sunday night, we're wrapping up our tournament Saturday and Sunday because I have 2 different daughters that both play there. So some play Saturday and some play Sunday, right?
Yep.
So I'm down there the whole weekend. And it's really hot, 89 degrees. I hop in my car and my car doesn't start.
No.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So what happens is the same thing that happened to Joe. If I keep my key too close to the car, my car is always trying to communicate with my key so it doesn't shut itself all the way down.
And your battery
And my
goes
battery
kaput.
is just dying. So I hop in. And again, my car is maybe 120 degrees, right? If I had a dog in there, it would have been long dead, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, I do one of these, hey, big guy, We're an hour from home. No one loves me enough to come down and get me, right? There's one other car left in the parking lot, and it's a 911 Turbo, and I highly doubt they're going to jump me with their 911 Turbo.
Right.
You know, I'm like, please. Sure enough, I hop in, and it kicks on. I was like, thank you. Because I was like, what am I going to be doing looking for? And there's not Sunday night. There's no one in Wanamingo. I mean, there's not, the bar has one
You
gal
would have
working
been
in it.
spending the night there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have had to figure it out. And no one would have come down. People like me. But if I would have said to my wife, honey, will you come down and pick us up in Wanamingo? She'd be like, I don't know if I can
I'm
do
in
that.
bed.
Yes.
I'm already asleep, even though I'm talking to you on the phone.
I'll Uber for you. I'll get you an Uber.
I'll send you a car.
I'll send you a car. But they wouldn't have done it. So that was our super fun. There was in beach volleyball, Reavers, there's a really unique thing.
Okay.
Parents can't say a word.
Oh, you've told me about
Yes.
this.
You can't say you can say great shot. You can say you're doing great. I hope you have fun.
Everything has to be positive
It has to be
reinforcement.
positive, and it's not even positive reinforcement. You can yell like "I hate you" to your child. You probably wouldn't, but you could do that. But what you can't do is say "I hate you." That was obviously in, or you should have hit that down the line. You can't do anything that's perceived as coaching. So these two guys kind of get in a little bit of a not argument. They're kind of just playing with each other because the one dad said to the other dad, hey, that's considered coaching. You're not supposed to do that. And he goes, oh, so after the ball was out and I say that was out, that's coaching? Say, yeah, you're making the calls. Like you have to wait for the players to make the official call.
Got it.
Then he could say, oh, I thought that was out, which would be just Bush League to do, right?
Sure.
They don't stop talking about it for 4 hours.
No.
And I just wanted to say, guys, first of all, shut up.
Let it go.
It's 12-year-old volleyball. Who cares? Your kid long won or long lost.
Right.
Who cares?
Move on.
And the best part is the kids score themselves, call each other teams on the penalties, replay. I mean, it's all done by the kids.
Wow.
You don't have to say one word. And, when your kid's done, you could say, hey, you notice that kid did something illegal. And, my kid said, yeah. And I said, well, you can feel free to say, hey, you can't do that. It's illegal. And what you do is during the middle of the play, you yell illegal, and then you keep playing the play. And if you win the point, you don't say anything.
Wow.
And if you lose the point, then you say, hey, you did an illegal move there to get it. And if the person says, no, I didn't, you replay the play. Right? You just replay the play.
Wow.
So it's super efficient, super adult, right? It's and you can see some girls are just like, illegal. I mean, every play they're calling something, which is illegal, right? It's not illegal for them to do, but they're seeing what the person did, and they're calling it every time, while other girls just roll over and don't say one word.
And you do think, though, that it's more fair the right way to put it? I mean,
it's they run it. If they feel like someone's cheating, they say it. No one's cheating on purpose. There's just illegal moves, right?
Gotcha.
Like how
Gotcha.
in volleyball you could hit the ball up with your hands, but your hands can be far apart.
Yep.
You can't do that. Your hands have to be together in beach volleyball. Okay. And it's a clear thing. Like you can just see it. It happens all the time, and you just clear. And the girls have to yell illegal, but some teams just don't have the moxie to do it, so the other team just gets away with it. And you can hear some parents like, that was illegal. They should have just said it.
But they're too afraid to speak up.
They can't. The parents can't say it, right? Because if the parents say it, hypothetically, they could make their team default. And,
I know
it's a good way to do it.
Everyone is sitting on the edge of their seat, waiting for me to give out the name of the campground I was just referencing.
Okay.
It's technically in between Zumbrota and Wanamingo, but I do know that it's almost right off of Highway 52.
Is it on the Zumbro River?
It is on the Zumbro River.
Nice.
It's called Shades of Sherwood, and I've actually been to this campground several times with my family.
It's pretty down there.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just a cool campground. And again, my family, meaning my parents and all my siblings, like they love camping. I tolerate camping. Mm-hmm. I do it once a year,
I know,
and there better be a lot of alcohol in the cooler, otherwise I ain't coming.
If you're gonna get bit by bugs,
well, it's that, and usually campgrounds do a good job of spraying. They should call mosquito shield, of course, but they do a decent job of spraying to minimize it. But I'll be honest, do you know what I really dislike the most? And it probably stems from when my kids were really little. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's dark. I want to go to bed because I know these kids are going to be up at 5:40 in the morning when the sun, when it starts to get light out. And it's time to let off some fireworks. No.
Yeah.
And I get it. Campgrounds have
People
quiet
having
time.
fun.
And I get all that. But I don't want to be at the mercy of every other idiot that's at the campground. Does that make sense?
I think it would be, for me, it would be trying to poop in that super hot little thing in your camper. You're like, man, it needs to get some air conditioning in here because there is no air conditioning.
Although
you don't want to do that in the
some
deep
of
heat.
these really nice state-of-the-art campers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're nicer than my first house.
But so people are driving their $500,000 camper to their $2 million cabin, right? They're not normally staying in, or they're at one of those, where you plug in and you get the waste tanks.
The best was, this would have been less than 5 years ago. And this guy had, this was the Superdome of RVs, right? And he's trying to, and we just sat there because we already all kind of set up. And so me and my two idiot brothers, we're sitting there. It's 8:00 at night, and we're set up. We're ready to go, and we're watching this guy try to navigate this 300-foot RV into this 100-foot space.
Oh no!
And we're thinking, he's not going to fit in there. And it's this way. It's just kind of like
Back
parallel
forth, back and
parking
forth,
it, to and from. And I thought, well, this will be fun for about a half an hour.
But he's got cameras all over. Probably has side thrust for all you know.
He finally, I think, because it started to get dark out, he couldn't see.
He just had to
I think
stop,
he just finally just gave up and just plugged it in on the side of the, what do you call it, the path that he was on.
I'm like, stopping here.
Yeah.
Those would be fun to have.
I get it. It's a very, very popular thing to do in the state in the summer. And thank God I have to do it one time a year.
Yeah, good luck.
Because that's about it. That's about all I can handle. Did you see the viral picture that I had sent out?
No.
In fact, I stole it from a different account, but it's a photo of, those sandwich board signs that you can, put up the lettering of whatever you want your message outside your storefront to be. And I saw this the other day and actually laughed. It says, "Has anyone tried unplugging the United States and plugging it back in?" And I thought,
let's do a reboot.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's do a
Perfect.
reboot.
Just unplug it and plug it back in.
Spending a little time in Wanamingo, it seems like our country's okay. Right? Small
Mike,
towns.
I tell Joe, because he's always all wound up when he comes in here, I say, you need to get out of the city. Just go drive for half an hour. You'll feel so much better about things. You truly will.
Yeah.
Because all he does is he drives here, he goes home. He drives here. Oh, he'll go visit a grand. You know what I mean?
Sure. He's not. So
you got to get outstate Minnesota once in a while.
One of my daughters graduated from school the other day.
Oh, congratulations!
Right? Super cool. It's a lot of fun. 7th grader.
Yep.
Graduates from school, and I said, I talked to her a little later on in the day. I didn't pick her up, and I said, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I went to Sushre's." I was like, "What do you mean?" And she went to Joe's to hang out with her schoolmates.
Yes.
And I said, "I've known Joe for 20 years.
And I've never been to his house.
Never. I have no idea where he even lives." And so I asked her, "Where does he live?" And she didn't say Main Street.
Right.
But she had no concept of where he lived.
And this is a young woman who's lived in St. Paul.
She knew it was like St. Paul. Some things looked familiar. And I said, well, and it wasn't like I was trying to find out exactly where he lived. It's none of my business. I don't really care. But I do know Joe for a long time. I've known Joe.
So this is a product of literally, if she was asked to give you directions somewhere, she would have zero idea.
Oh, let me give you another story. I went to Minnesota United's soccer game the other night on Gay Pride Night.
Okay.
A lot of fun, right? They did a really great job. If you're going to do a Gay Pride Night, they did a really great job. It was very nice, appointed well, everything looked fine. It was very respectful, right? It was a great job. But I had bought charity tickets at an event, so I had a group of 10.
Sure.
So we all went. Super great night. That Allianz Field, if you've never been there for a game, even if you don't like soccer, it is amazing.
I am still mad at myself because I have yet to be, and I am not a soccer fan. I don't rip it. I'm personally not a soccer fan, but I do want to go see that stadium.
It's beautiful. I should have invited you.
Yeah, it's all good.
It was a 1-1 tie.
I would have found a reason not to go, but
yes,
thank you for the.
Just about everybody I invited found a reason. My kids included just said I'm not going. But it was ended in a 1-1 tie, which is anticlimactic because it's just not a lot of fun. But we did score in like the 84th minute to tie it up, so that was great. So we leave and I get back home and there's like 5 people at my house and then there's one random boy. Right? Bunch of girls and one random boy. And I said, okay, hey, see you later, kid. He's like, I don't have a ride home. I'm like, oh my God. Hop in the car, right? So I'm taking him. And I know he lives close. So we're driving and I said, where do you live? He said, well, here. And he shows me his snap maps.
No.
Like I live. And I'm like, dude, you have to know where you live.
Right.
And he said, well, I'm not going to my house. I'm going to my buddy's house. And I'm like, wait, what? I would have just pushed him to the end of my driveway and said, if you're still going out at 11 o'clock at night,
That's your problem.
That's your problem, not my problem. If you need to get home, like I'm responsible for you.
I can take care of you there.
Yeah, he's not old enough to drive yet, right? And so I take him to this house by my house. Reavers, this house looked like a 40,000 square foot contemporary office building. It was unbelievable. I'm like, whose house is this? And it's one of his friends that goes to his school. I had no idea that in the Mendota area.
He's in the West Wing.
Honest to God, this was the most amazing house I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I did not know that was possible. And it was like a mile from my house. And my house looked like maybe a track home compared to this thing. I was like, I don't know who this kid is. So my daughter says, oh, I know who that is. In fact, I was at that house and they wouldn't let me in. And I said, who are you with? And she goes, like 10 boys. And I said, no. They wouldn't let the 10 boys in. They probably would have allowed one girl to come in. But 10 boys, whoever the dad was like, thanks, but no thanks, boys. Stay outside. They have a full-size gym.
Wow.
Full-size gym. I mean, so cool, Rivers. And very few times am I jealous of things because that's not my thing. But I wanted to knock on the door and say, "Hey, should we be buddies? Somehow I need to become your friend." Really cool house.
I can't get over the fact that how grateful I am that I don't have a high school age daughter.
Oh, or three of them.
I would have just. Yeah, I wouldn't have been okay with any of that, what you just laid out.
Yeah.
All that I would have said, well, no, we're not doing any of this.
Yeah, I do know right now I have people at my home.
Oh.
Because it's the last day of school, and it's boy-girl party that's happening at my house right now. I'm not there, but I'm going to get there, and I bet you all my beer is going to be gone, and I'm going to be mad. I'm going to just bring Bud Light and see who drinks it.
With that being said, Michael, thank you and best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you, Reavers. You're the best.
Please do us a favor. Rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to the Weekly Scramble. We would appreciate it. His name is Mike Fratelloni. My name is Chris Reavers. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. Until then, cheers. All right, guys, we're into June. Are you feeling like it's harder to get in shape and stay in shape? Well, guess what? Our sponsor, Nugenix Total T, is offering a complimentary bottle when you text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. Hey, I get it. It's not your fault. As we all age, our body naturally loses free testosterone, the man hormone. It happens to all of us, and it can make it more difficult to stay in shape and be energetic. So if you want more energy to counter the negative physical effects of aging, well, Nugenix Total T Testosterone Booster with Testofen is going to help you turn back the clock, re-energize your workouts, and get you better results at the gym and help you look and feel like the man that you really want to be. Nugenix Total T is the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. And while every product professes quality, many other products are going to just use generic ingredients that are often far less than clinical grade. With Nugenix Total T, you get the same clinical potency levels used in the trials. And Nugenix's formulation is backed by 10 years of science and research. So get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. Hey, text right now and get a bottle of Nugenix Thermal, their most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. That's 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.